Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cam, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're gonna be reacting to why the Playback abandoned their audience, Agent and Low. Let's go.
Channel was a YouTube channel featuring the duo of Agent 00
Yeah, it
and
was.
Legend of Winning, aka Low. These two
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this channel that they made together, they made like a year or two ago. And they was grinding, and then now I notice they don't even upload on that channel no more. Only thing they talk like that.
will post commentary videos on a variety of subjects, from TikTok degenerates to any crazy thing happening in the streaming/internet community. They were pretty consistent as far as producing content, but as time went on, they suddenly stopped uploading. So what exactly happened? Well, I'm here to give you as close to an answer as you can possibly get. Let's get into it. The history of Agent and Low's friendship goes back to a little bit before Agent's early YouTube days, specifically around 2013-2014. Agent was on a podcast called the AO Podcast, which is a crazy name by the way, where they would stream from Skype to YouTube. Low started off as a graphic designer until Agent eventually brought him.
AO Podcast, it was like me, Waffle Man, there was a few other people I'm blanking. I don't remember because we rotated so many groups of people, and so on this old podcast we used to have guests on the show. I remember on one of the podcasts, I was like, yo, we're looking for a guest, but then I didn't really know many people, so I was relying on like the people watching to be the guests. Earlier than that, bro, it was like 2014, 13.
Yeah, probably, you probably right. Probably
So anyway, this podcast is going on. I see a tweet, and keep in mind, my Twitter was slow as shit, so if you sent me a tweet that day, I would see it for sure. And Lowe sent me, I forgot what it was, but it was like this AO podcast with like, it had like a giraffe graphic or something like that.
It was a thumbnail.
Okay, and it was,
First of all, we gotta get over what's that name? AO Podcast. What kind of name is that? It's not creative at all.
creative. It was the most creative thing I seen in a minute. And so I was like, oh snap. So then I clicked on your page, and I think you had some videos live on your channel, just some you did like way back.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, so this guy kind of knows what he's talking about, and he's not like, we're not gonna have him on the podcast if you have nothing to contribute, right?
Yeah.
So then you were guesting the podcast. And then back then I had no human skills, so no cap. I remember telling Waffleman and them this dude, I was like, I don't know how to tell this guy that he's not gonna come on for another podcast, but we already added you to the Skype chat, so we couldn't then get rid of you.
Facts.
So we just kind of kept you for another podcast, and then nobody wanted to tell you to go away, and you were kind of just coming back. So we would just like every night we'd be on Skype chats talking shit about 2K or talking about videos.
That's 2K
like 4 or 5 of us.
Though the two had separate channels, they would collaborate from time to time, with Low having cameos on Agent's 2K videos. In late January 2020, Agent and Low would upload the first episode of the Peer-to-Peer podcast, which I'll refer to as Peer-to-Peer for short. Their third attempt at starting a podcast.
My fault. I think they did it. I think they started like 3 or 4 years ago. That's my fault. That's my bad.
According to Agent.
We're starting a new podcast. For those of you guys who have been following us for a while, you know we had a podcast last year. And then if you've been following us for a very long time, you know we had a podcast like 4 years ago. It's our annual ritual where we stop a podcast and start a new one. So we had like an odd launch for it. We dropped a couple episodes on all the other platforms, but we didn't drop them on YouTube. And so this is going to be a YouTube exclusive. So you're not going to be able to see this on any other platform, guys.
And this podcast was actually solid, discussing all types of current events, and they even invited notable guests on there from the likes of every member of AMP, Tia Rage, Sneeko, and even Gideon. Peer-to-Peer was loved for many reasons, and I can honestly say that even though I didn't tune into every single podcast episode, I think the podcast was very well produced for the most part. Now, around the same time that Peer-to-Peer was hitting its stride, Agent and Low launched the Playback channel. Like I said earlier, the premise of the channel was basically reacting to anything interesting they came across, hence the name of the channel, Playback. The original idea for the channel was to stand out a bit, mixing IRL or competitive videos with normal reactions. This direction was scrapped, and they just opted to do reactions. Now, these reactions were really entertaining, I'm not gonna lie. I will watch these when I'm eating, when I'm just sitting there chilling, editing a video or something. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, they came through for me. That's really saying a lot because I really don't watch any content that's not somewhat thought-provoking or entertaining. As a direct result of the success of AMP and Peer-to-Peer, Playback grew to over 500,000 subscribers, posting consistently. And this is where things started to change. In December of 2022, Low would get exposed by his ex on Twitter for cheating on her 4 times with 4 different women, which he admitted to in a tweet of his own. I wasn't too hip to the situation at the time. All I kept seeing was memes of Low at Kroger, and people saying that he went 4 for 4 comparing it to Jordan Jordan going 6 for 6 in the final. Niggas
Aight.
even called him Legend of Kroger.
Nah, that's out of pocket. They just call him 4 for 4 because MJ got 4 wins.
Bro, like these were wild times.
That
A
was
lot
crazy.
of people roasted Low for a while, and even to this day. But let's be real, niggas really don't care about a content creator they watch cheating on their woman. Now, obviously, if it was a woman doing what Low did, the opinion would be different. A few weeks after the situation on January 6, 2023, Agent and Low would announce the end of Peer to Peer after 258 episodes. In this last episode, while they're saying their goodbyes, Low takes the time to address the cheating situation.
Yo, yeah. So a couple weeks ago, my now ex put out a tweet, kind of highlighting and exposing me as a cheater, and I'm here now to tell the rest of the world that yes, I am. I cheated, man. I cheated. I am a cheater. I don't agree with it. My stance on cheating still hasn't changed. I think cheating is bad. That's not changing. I just believe I made bad decisions. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
4 times, yeah. It was 4 times.
You do gotta give him props because everybody makes bad decisions. So like you can't blame him for that. You know, yeah, he did it. You gotta blame him for that because he the one that cheated. But then at the same time, you gotta see it from his perspective. He might not be getting it from the relationship that he wanted.
4 times.
The same girl or different girls?
Different girls, different women. It was
That's
not
crazy.
a Kroger associate, but I don't really think any of that really matters. People also ask me why I cheated. That also doesn't really matter at all because it's just bad decisions. It's not the right thing to do, and so I don't want people to think that like there's a way to justify anything like that. The whole argument of like how can you criticize people? Everybody in this community, everybody makes mistakes. I don't want
Exactly.
to be painted as a perfect person. Like I just don't want to be. I don't want if you're trying to pedestalize me to be a perfect person, please stop like right now. And the reason why to stop that as well is because it comes along with the criticism. Because if that's the case, like I personally, trust me, I really don't care nor mind the critiques that come in my comment section and replies all the time. I don't mind it. And the reason why I don't is because I know that comes along with being a person and that comes along with mistakes. So people are going to criticize me. So that's also fine as well. Bro, we all make bad mistakes. We all human. We all understand what's right and wrong. It's not really about you making a mistake or making the bad decisions. It's you trying to grow and bounce back from those bad decisions that you made.
As for why Peer to Peer ended, Agent speaks on it on stream a short time after, citing him and everyone involved prioritizing other things in life, like Agent working on AMP's videos on top of growing his own brand.
At the end of the day, I just couldn't handle all the priorities on my plate. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's not just the podcast, even in my personal life. Like there's times where my mom can't even get a hold of me and I feel bad. Once you take a step back from content, it hits you like there's so many other things that matter, and sometimes you can't forget about those things because they're also really important. At the end of the day, those are the most important things. At the end of the day, the podcast was fun to do. It's just on the list of priorities, I wasn't giving it the attention it deserved, nor was anybody else. Everybody had a priority that was more important than Peer to Peer, and you can tell by the way we were executing, because even if you enjoyed the podcast, I'm sure you've seen podcasts where you're like, damn, how the f did they let this slip? So I never had any intention for the pod to end, but we tried to grow it as much as we could. But in all reality, any time I spent on the podcast was time I wasn't spending on AMP. And AMP is demanding. It's time I wasn't spending on stream. The stream is demanding. It was time I wasn't spending on many other things that I could have been spending my time on. And it just felt like I was half-assing something that deserved serious attention. And
That's why I said, in my opinion, I feel like that was the right move for them to like not upload no more on it, because so then they can do everything else they got to do, like get their priorities straight, because like they got too much. He trying to do too much, like do too many YouTube channels and all that, you know.
I know, even though the podcast did good, it couldn't have done great had any one of us been able to give it that attention.
I know a lot of y'all probably asking, what does Low cheating have to do with Playback not uploading? Nothing crazy, but to fans of the channel, this scandal made them see Low as hypocritical. Low's opinions on relationships and women came across as someone who's big on loyalty and bashes promiscuity. He even said on video that he didn't think he could cheat on the woman that he's with, so I could understand where a lot of these fans are coming from.
I don't think I could do that because like you legitimately took advantage of me being genuine, like you just sat there and said.
Yeah.
Like I was genuine, I trusted you, and you just took advantage of that to participate in a whole nother relationship. No, I couldn't do that.
Another theory that I saw that I want to sort of debunk is about Agent distancing himself because Low cheated. This is really far-fetched because the two seem cool after the fact, continuing to make videos until the beginning of this year before going radio silent. I think this is a case of two friends who once collaborated all the time just going to do their own thing. Low runs two channels of his own on top of hosting events on an app called Playback, while Agent is still in AMP producing content on top of streaming and keeping up with his own reaction channel. Playback was good for what it was, and if it is the end, I hope they return sometime in the future for one last run. But let me know what you guys think about this entire situation in the comments, man. I'm gonna try to keep the consistency up for y'all. We on the road to 70K now, you feel what I'm saying? I really want to reach that 100, but we gotta reach 70 first. So make sure y'all step up, join the Discord to continue the conversation. It's Fargo, and I'm out, man.
Hey Fargo, W videos in the chat. And still, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I'm out. Peace.